we got some crusty feet today. These are my favorite type of feet because the transformation is always so exciting and my client always walks away with a huge smile on their face. So because we do everything dry, the first thing we want to do is we want to kill those pathogens. So we're just going to take our Podoexpert shoe and foot deodorant, spray all over the foot. And if you're in a warm setting and for whatever reason, if the foot starts to have some kind of odor, at any time you can always pull out your Podoexpert and just spray the feet again, okay? Has like a really nice smell to it. I'm then gonna take my Podoexpert Callus Softener and I'm gonna spray it all over the foot. Because we're really dry on the sides right here, I'm gonna make sure I'm not only getting like the bottom of the foot, but also the sides where I'm gonna spend a little more work, okay? Rubbing that product in. Perfect. Now, when I'm feeling around the callus, I can feel like the callus is actually like right here in her foot. Like it's not as callousy here. It's more right in between this area. So because it's a little more scaly, I'm actually going to start off using a carbide. Now, let's talk about why I might use carbide before I use diamond. All right, so reasons that I'm going to use carbide before diamond is carbide is going to take more chunks off, okay? So I know that sounds scary, but it's not scary. Because we're a little more like flaky, I don't want as many airborne particles as what the diamond's going to create. So this is more like chunk and remove, whereas diamond is more of that gentle exfoliation, all right? So work smarter, not harder. We're going to go with the tapered carbide tool. We're going to start with the petty tapered barrel. And anytime you're using the carbide, it always has to be on callus skin. I really like when the skin is like tagged like that to go against it, like trying to get up right. Yeah, this is perfect. Really trying to get underneath that lip so that I can lift it up. I want to go against the grain. Everything that I'm trying to do, I want to take those dead skin cells that have been separated from the live tissue and I want to release them off. See it? It's a buildup of callus, and when I'm able to get those little carbide teeth right underneath and it just flies right up, man, that is such a good feeling. And for my model, there should be no discomfort. How does this feel? It might just feel like a little catchy. I keep my bit flat until I'm kind of like carving out, like, I gotta be careful with the word carving, like tracing. We're not carving, we're tracing. That sounds pretty. We can make pedicure sound pretty. All right, I'm taking the bit and moving it only on the callus skin, keeping the bit as parallel to the skin as possible. Now, when you're working with the Erica's Carbide Tapered Barrel, this does make a difference if you're a righty or if you're a lefty, okay? So be sure, if you're a righty, that you pick the right-handed selection, and if you're a lefty, be sure that you grab the lefty, because the little teeth, the little flutes are going to be fluted differently, and we want to make sure that you're effectively removing any of this bulk. For our righties, you're going to use the right-handed carbide in the forward direction, and for our lefties, you're going to get the lefty tapered carbide and you're going to run it in reverse. I'm at 26,000 RPMs. Look at this little tag right here, this little skin that wants to come off. Sometimes when we just go with it, with the grain, or we're going with the tag, it doesn't come up. So a circular motion where you're flirting with it in different angles, look, it just pops right off. So let's check out this one right here. Using the tip and working it in a circular motion, in doing so, is allowing those carbide teeth to scratch it all off, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. The carbide is taking down a lot of that work, and I'm just removing some of that bulk. What's nice right now is my client is not ticklish, and I'm just feeling, oh yeah, feeling for callus. Looking for color change. So on our darker clients, instead of it turning more pinky, sometimes it's going to turn more of like a light yellowy color. And our lighted skin clients are going to be more of a pinky shade, but there's so many variations. What you're just really looking for is getting down to a more supple skin layer, okay? We do not want to take it all off. These calluses did not come overnight, and we do not want to spend half our day reducing all of it. Now that I've successfully used the carbide tapered pedicure bit to really like detach some of those scales, I'm now going to take again my callus softener and I'm just going to like leave the foot feeling wet. This is going to help with the exfoliation of our diamond tool. So anytime you use a carbide, it really lifts up the skin. But now I want to soften and exfoliate everything. So I keep this a little wet, and because we're more callous, I'm actually going to use the mega extra, extra coarse pedicure bit. And this style of Spartan is called the Torch. I'm going to start off at 25,000 RPMs. Circular motions. My pressure is very light. I'm allowing the tool to do the work for me. Start off on a lower speed like 10,000 and then continue to increase depending on your client's comfort, as well as how callous the skin is. There's a lot of discernment in this. Less is more. And is there any warmth or discomfort?
No.
Circular motions. I'm making sure to continuing to move my tool. And the reason for that is friction. Keeping my back straight. Pulling the skin tight. I mean, like, just look at that. I really like how that Podoexpert is helping with the exfoliation by like holding the particles, like the skin cells together more, so there's not as many airborne, but also that it's helped breaking down the dead skin cells so that I can get it off quickly. Do your feet hurt when you get home?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can tell. So like right here, because the foot is so used to being like tight, as you can see exactly where that friction is rubbing. See, like, look at that little toe right there, like how it fits into a shoe. And literally right there, look at the callus. So I'm taking my carbide really gently right on that rim and just softening it. I don't want to remove it because I know that this is part until we get different shoes or orthopedics. I just want to soften everything so our shoes feel a little more comfortable. All right, see that little tat, like that callus right there? But like, look how it's smushed, that friction between the toes. So at this point, I would also encourage you to look at orthopedics because the skin's breaking down and your fatty pads right here is that as we get older, we lose those lipids. And because of that, the foot is collapsing more, putting more pressure right here. And doing that, it's just going to continue to hurt, even with the soaks and the massages, is because that is more reactionary care than preventative care. And having some kind of support right here, because your foot needs that arch support, but as we just get older and after so many hits, it's starting to go flat. So we thinned down this area right here. We really took down some thickness right here and some of the scales. And now we're gonna do the fun part where we're gonna use our foot care mousse, okay? So all I need is a golf ball size, all right? More isn't necessarily better. The body's only gonna absorb what it wants, and we don't wanna have like any kind of like greasy residue. So like this isn't an occlusive product, but if you put too much on, you're gonna feel some of the slip just because there's too much product, okay? And look at her foot, it just like drank it up. So Podoexpert also has a cream. Now, I don't recommend using the cream as a retail sale because it kind of contradicts what the whole Podoexpert and the foam technology is. But I love that they listen to nail techs, and as nail techs, we usually like to give a nice massage, which means we need a little more slip. However, if you have a client who has been like ride or die Vaseline and they want that slip, okay, then yes, make the adjustment. Yeah, I'd rather you have the Podoexpert foot cream than going back to some of those other products, okay? But at the end of the day, mousse is best.